all your all's families here. I know you got parents here and everything. We can go down the line one at a time, and we can start with you, Zach. What do your parents mean to you and helping you through this process?
They've done the most for me throughout all this. At a young age, they took me to all these camps and installed the mindset in for me that what I need to do, and they've done everything for me.
Mason?
They've always been really supportive and just make sure it's what I want to do and not necessarily what they want me to do, and make sure that I love what I'm doing.
What about you, Katie?
They've always been above and beyond, and even when stuff wasn't going right outside of football, they always kind of found a way to kind of stay in and watch and follow me and support me, and I really appreciate it.
Mason, we can start with you on this one. When you look back to the 2020 football season, obviously it was one that I don't think anybody will ever forget with everything that was going on with it, but what will be some of the memories that you will keep for 2020?
Just all the stuff that we went through as a team, working hard, pretty much by ourselves because we didn't necessarily get that extra help of pushing each other because of all of our small groups, and just how we really wanted it. And I guess that's all I get to say.
What about you, Caden?
It's the year that I kind of, I guess you could say, sprouted. Had a pretty good season. Had a great line. Had a great fullback. Our defense did great. We ended up having a really good season with all the regulations and all the stuff we had to follow before. It was tough. We had to practice through it. We had to work through it, but it ended up great. We had a winning season. It was great. Great season.
What do you think, Zach?
Probably the first 1 to 3 games are probably my favorite memory because put in all that work, like Mason said, in the small groups, and you installed your mental aspect in yourself in that because you had to put yourself through. There was 1 or 2 coaches watching 10 kids, so there wasn't a coach with eyes on you the whole time. So you really had to put yourself, and that first game especially, everybody just came together and we just mauled them basically. So that was just a good feeling.
Caden, why Campbellsville?
It's a great school. The campus is nice. The coaches are nice. It's a great program. I really like when we first went in. Atwood was really honest with us and just kind of told us what it was going to be. It was going to be tough. We're gonna have to work harder than probably we ever had before. And it reminded me of Coach Smart and the program that was built here. And I really like that.
Mason?
Like Hayden said, the coaches seem to really reach out to you and be honest with you and tell you how it's going to be and that it's going to be a lot of hard work. And I'm not necessarily opposed to working hard. I like working hard, and it's just a nice campus and just feels like home.
What about you, Zach?
Basically the same thing they said. Came in, Coach L was like, it ain't going to be easy, but one thing I like about it is they don't care who you are, what you do for a living. As long as you come in and work, they're going to give you a chance.
Mason, what was Campbellsville's pitch to you as what you will be doing when you get there?
Basically, you're going to be a hard worker just like you were here, and basically you're going to clean up what everybody puts out in front of you.
Caden, what are they wanting to use you for?
When I first visited, we talked briefly about it, and I played running back this year, but he said the best chance I have to play is probably slot receiver, and he said my size is where they're most successful at in slot, not running back. So he kind of just said I need to focus on that and work on that.
Zach, what are they wanting from you?
They said more like an inside linebacker type with just my build and my height and just the more lower center of gravity type I have. And then we talked about the mental aspect of the game too, and they said they use my mental side of the game as much as they would my physical too.
Caden, we can start with you and wrap it up on this.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at, I know you've got some of your younger teammates in here and some of your current teammates and everything. What would be your advice to them so that they can, in a year or 2, 3 years, or however far down the road, that they can be sitting in your shoes signing to play college football?
Just keep working. Keep doing what the coaches say. Keep working on the off season, during the season. Try as hard as you can. It's never not. Originally I thought it wasn't possible for me to play college football or college sports at all, and here I am signing. So anything's possible.
Mason?
Push harder and harder. Just whenever you think you're at your limit, you're not. You can go 10 more, 15 more %, and just keep on pushing until you reach your full potential.
What do you think, Zach?
Once you get that mindset installed that you know is what you want to do and you have that dream and the desire to go play college football. The hard work and stuff, it'll come with it. You'll know exactly what you need to do, when you need to do it, and how hard you need to push yourself.
Okay, Coach, when you look at these three in front of you, what does this moment mean as a whole?
I think it's just a good success for the program. Anytime you get guys playing at the next level, I think it's good building stepping stone for younger guys to look and see the opportunities that lay before them potentially here at Grayson County. I think there's a lot of kids, kind of like Caden said, probably don't assume that they can play at the next level. We got Coach Waltemeyer played here, played in college, comes back, coaches. Hopefully these guys will do the same.
We can go one by one now. We can start with Caden. When you think of Caden Woodcock down the road, what are you going to remember?
I think breakout season. I mean, he's always kind of been right there, but just hadn't had that moment. Played a lot in the secondary, and offensively kind of got stuck behind some other guys. Q a couple years ago, Kopp and Gibson had the big years last year, and he was kind of right there as a contributor, but just didn't have the big moments. And, I guess the story kind of tells itself this year. 8 games, 1,100 yards, pretty big year. And I think looking back at some other history of the program, I think a top 5 season for a running back. So pretty special.
Mason Miller.
Irreplaceable. I think that'll be the theme going into next year is how do we get that in our team again. It's hard to stand up here and talk about these guys a little bit. To me, when I think of Mason, he's the way the game's supposed to be played, the way it was intended to be played 100 years ago. Just irregard for his own health, I guess. I think as a junior, he missed some games from just repeatedly bashing people, and it cost him some games. This year, thank God it didn't. But I've seen some guys on some teams that we were playing, tapping that helmet, they wanted to get out. After we've ran ISO 3 or 4 times, people don't want no more of that. And it's just the way he plays all the time.
Zach Bratcher.
Student of the game. I think Zach is proof that when you put your mind to something, you can do it. I was fortunate enough to have Zach when he was an 8th grader, quite a bit smaller. And I can remember as a teacher and a football coach, and I knew nothing about Zach as a football player realistically, and we didn't have him in the program yet. And he was pretty adamant about being a football player and wanting to play college football. And I think he was one that put his mind to it, devoted his life to it. To understand how to play linebacker as far as reads and reacting and things like that, but also in the weight room. And he's 3 times the size he was as an 8th grader. He was a pretty small, scrawny guy. And if you would have asked me back in 8th grade, is Zach going to play college football, I probably would have told you no. Nothing against him, but he didn't have a great big frame. He wasn't overly athletic. But he, like I said, he devoted everything he had to becoming that because that was his dream. And, he's in the 5 years I've been here, he's the best linebacker we've had. And in 15 years of coaching, he's probably one of the top 2 or 3 linebackers I've ever coached as far as just understanding the game and being around the ball all the time. So he's proof that when you want something, you can make it happen.
What can your current team, the players that are coming back next year, learn from these 3 about getting better as a player and then hopefully making that next step?
I think just what I said with Zach, when you want something bad enough, you want to be good, you can do it. I think Mason, again, prime example of how you play the game. Full speed all the time. You know, hitting somebody as hard as you can. It's a violent game, and it's intended to be played with a lot of passion and enthusiasm. I think all three guys have that. You know, I think Caden's a great example of you know, a young guy that's got a little bit and not giving up on yourself, not quitting. You know, because he wasn't the star for 3 years, just kind of buying your time, and you can still have those big moments. You know, it's been real easy for Caden to pout and feel sorry for himself over the last couple of years because somebody else was getting all that spotlight. He just bought his time, waited his turn, and sometimes it's that way, you know. Zach's been fortunate to be a 3-year starter here. You know, but I think he's a selfless teammate. You know, here he is playing offensive line this year. You know, I mean, that's something out of the ordinary. That's a great teammate. And, you know, Mason, I think he's just been a staple for us for the last 3 years, really, on offense. And, again, unsung hero, though. You know, Caden didn't have 1,100 yards without Mason Miller. There's no way. Even though Caden was the guy getting his name in the paper all the time, you know, he doesn't get it done without Mason. And so, you know, these are just prime great examples of teammates, you know, and all the life lessons, I guess, that you want a kid to learn through the game. Here it is, proof.